outside of Cleveland, I think in the East, it's been the best story in the NBA for sure. A couple of weeks ago, we came on here. Kevin, I told you, I said, got to break up the Jazz.
Yeah,
They're too good. They're too good.
How are they doing it, Chris?
It's just a buzzsaw. It's a buzzsaw because it's this weird, I told you, a bunch of guys that can do the I was cast off, somebody discarded me, chip on my shoulder, getting an opportunity, playing for the greater good, and their assist numbers every night
My goodness.
is unbelievable for a group of guys that has never played with each other. You got Kelly Olynyk, Malik Beasley, Mike Conley, Lauri Markkanen, and who was the fifth starter? Was it Clarkson last night?
You said Clarkson already?
Yeah. Okay, so that's the fifth starter. So I mean, those are the five guys that you throw out there, and right off the bat, they scored 40 plus in 2 consecutive games against the Lakers, right? Like, it came out the gate just flying. They end up these games with 30 assists. So they are just sharing the ball. The good shot gets passed up for a great shot. And this playing unselfishly, then they bring guys off the bench that can get you buckets, where Sexton comes off the bench and he'll get you some buckets. And it's like, and then they have different guys, like, every night. And it has been, outside of Cleveland, I think, in the East, it's been the best story in the NBA, for sure. Because you couldn't have lower expectations than everybody did for Utah. This was a
Horton-Tucker last night even, right?
Yeah, right.
For everybody. Yeah, he had the big dunk.
And
felt symbolic.
He loved that.
Oh, yeah.
With them discarding him in L.A. Horton-Tucker loved that.
Oh, no doubt about it.
Revenge game. But, I mean, nobody expected anything out of them. And at some point, you're watching it because it's not like sometimes this stuff can get really fluky and it's like, it's just the first 10 games of the season, whatever. It's the stuff they're doing. When you are a team that can regularly be getting high 20s, 30-something assists in games, like, that's real. They're moving the ball, they're taking care of the ball, and they're scoring at a super high rate. And they played all manner of different types of teams, and they've been able to pull it off with nobody expecting them to do anything. It's crazy.
Even if they fall off, like you said, Chris, it's the way they're doing it that offers encouragement for what the team is today as a competitive young team with some young talent that's up and coming, and for the foundation that they're building for the future with what Hardy, their new head coach, is building there. Like, it's not just the results, it's the way they're playing. And so I think even if their record were reversed, if they were 3-9 instead of 9-3, we wouldn't be talking about them as one of the best stories of basketball and all that. But I think we'd at least be looking at them like, oh yeah, they're building something really good there. So even removing the results from the equation, I think you still gotta feel good about what they are. Even their first round pick, Walker Kessler, he looks really good coming off the bench for them.
And I'm telling you, just like the same way we were talking earlier about how, like, somebody like Portland stands out because of the way they all mob each other when they're doing the walk-off interviews. You watch that Utah team and you watch the way they make the extra pass and they play together. You're not seeing that in other games. You watch these other teams. Like, I went and saw, like I just told you, I saw Charlotte and Washington. Like, those are two sorry teams. Washington's a little better, and I know they were without Beal, but, like, those teams don't share the ball like that. They don't keep you on your heels. They don't make you make the extra rotation to get to, where you're trying to cover up to get to an open shot. Like, they don't play like that. They play like a good team plays.
Oh, yeah.
They play, you know what I mean? Like, where it's like, all right, we ain't got a superstar, but we're going to keep popping this ball around and make you chase it until we get a good look. And we don't take a bunch of contested shots. And I've been so impressed. They play a fun brand of basketball. And I do think that if he doesn't break up, like the team, that they're going to win games. I do. I think this currently constructed team is going to win a lot more games than people would think it would. We've had these types of teams before, you know, where it's like the team that nobody expected to be any good turns out to be just because they find something and they're really playing together and they got good chemistry.
A big test coming up. 7 of their next 10 on the road.
Yeah.
If they get through this 10-game stretch, you know, they have at Atlanta, at Philly, versus Phoenix, at Portland, at the Warriors, at the Suns. Like, there's some tough games coming up for them. If they get through this stretch and they're still like in that top 6 in the West or even top 3, I mean, I think this is really what's going to show who this team really is for the duration of the full season, but already 12 games through, as we're just talking about, like there's a lot of good happening there, regardless of where they end up in the standings.
Plus, they got these pit bulls they bring in off the bench, and the next thing you know, like,
it's just mentioned Kessler, you know, Rudy Gay coming off the bench in a
Vanderbilt and Sexton. I mean, these guys are like Chihuahua. Like, they're frothing at the mouth trying to get off that bench. They want your neck.
And Vanderbilt didn't even play the last 2 games because he's out right now. But like even without him, I mean, they still get
those
depth,
are the
man.
are the kind of guys that come out on the bench and you're like, damn, like there's no let up.